Okay, look, I get that this could be a bait. I get this could be a bait card. Oh, by the way, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, all that sort of stuff I say at the beginning. This card could be a bait. It could be a bait card, but consider me falling for that bait hook, line, and sinker, because this card is so cool. I don't even care. So we built a deck on it. We built a Sonata Arcanics deck, and this is my first draft of an OTK Sonata Arcanics chain. Now, the interesting thing about this is you could build this deck a variety of different ways. You could build it with Visceri, but I chose to build it with Chain and show you with Chain. I may change it up. I don't know. Let me know in a comment below what you think of this deck as we go through it. It is very complicated. In fact, this is the second time through I've explained this on camera, because the first time I was like, I did not explain that well enough. I need to go again. So we're going to go again. Let's first talk about what this even is. Sonata Arcanics is a Runeblade action. It is a Majestic from the Monarch set. It costs double X, so you pay two, sets of resources, or you pay like a number for your resources, and then you have that for the effect. Reveal the top X plus 3 of your cards of your deck. So if you have 8 resources that you put into Sonata Arcanics, you'll take the top 4 plus 3 cards of your deck. Makes sense? So you'll have 7 cards at that point. So once you've done that, for each non-attack action card revealed that way, you put an attack action card revealed that way into your hand, okay? So what that might look like, I don't know. If you play this card and you pitch 12 resources, right? Let's say your hand, and you're pitching from your hand, all 4 of your cards are blue. You pitch 12 resources into this, half that number, you get 6. So you get 6 plus the top 3, 6 plus 3 cards of your deck. So you have 9 cards in your hand that you're looking at. You reveal them. If like 5 of those cards are non-attack actions and 4 are attack actions, then you can take 4 cards into your hand that are attack actions. And then you get to deal arcane damage to target hero equal to the number of cards you get. Okay, so you get all the attack actions, right? That's how it functions, that's how it works. Then you shuffle and banish this card. You shuffle the deck and banish this card. Go again, by the way. Oh yeah, go again. Woo, okay. So what this essentially does is it allows you to fill your hand with attacks and deal arcane damage and like do some other crazy stuff that we'll talk about. I'll just put it that way. So there's a combo with this, okay? Here's the combo. If you take this card, but before you do it, you make a bunch of rune chants and then you pop Bloodsheath Skeleta, which says instant, destroy this, the next attack action card and non-attack action card you play this turn. Gain this card costs 1 resource less to play for each rune chant you control. So again, if you make a bunch of rune chants, then popping Bloodsheath Skeleta makes this see the rune chants as you paying that cost. So if you have 12 rune chants and 4 cards in your hand, you can use the 12 rune chants, basically not use them, but like this card sees them as paying that cost. You can play this card for essentially free using the 12 rune chants, and then you do the same exact thing I explained before. You take 6 cards, you add 3 from the effect here, and you reveal 9 cards. Okay, so are you following? So if we destroy this after making a bunch of rune chants, then we essentially can draw a bunch of cards, refill our hand for free. And we didn't remove any cards from hand, so we'd have a giant hand of cards. A lot of attacks, too, because all we get from this effect are attacks. And then we deal arcane damage on top of that. So this is the combo, and the issue with this combo is that it takes a lot of moving parts. It takes a lot of very specific deck construction that we need to go through. But before we go through it, let's talk about the equipment. Oh, I'm using Reaping Blade because Reaping Blade seems like a great fit. Reaping Blade has 3 attack for 1 resource. It also just keeps your opponent from healing up. We're not actually running any healing. Maybe we can, I don't know. Like I said, this is a rough draft of this deck. And other thing, I should say this too. We're running Chain, but we're not going to use the effect of creating a Soul Shackle token every turn. We're going to use it very sparingly and only in the right times, okay? And we're going to do that because we don't want to burn cards from our deck. There are not a lot of cards in here that can be played from Banish. There are a few, and there are a few Blood Debts as well, but not a ton, okay? So it's not like a normal Chain deck. We're running Grasp of the Arknight. Grasp of the Arknight, you can pitch 2 resources and create a rune chant token. It costs 1 more for each rune chant you already control, so this is like a way to start the whole chain off with just creating rune chants. Pitch 2 and make a rune chant is a great way to start, plus it blocks 2, so it's fantastic. We have Crown of Dichotomy, which we want to use on the turn, or maybe the turn before, depending on how we want to do it, that we're going to pop off. Because we can give this go again, because it's a Runeblade action. You destroy it, by the way, if you don't know. You destroy it, and you can take a Runeblade attack action and non-attack action card from your graveyard and put them on top of your deck. So essentially, you pay a resource with this, maybe floating 2 other resources or 1 other resource by pitching a card from your hand. After you've made a Soul Shackle, you take 2 cards, a non-attack and an attack, you put them on top of your deck, thus feeding the Sonata Arcanics even more, which is really cool. And the fact that this also has Arcane Barrier 1 is really, really good. We have Null Rune Boots in the Boots slot because you're probably going to want that at some point, but you could also run like Mage Master Boots, or you can run Iron Hide Boots. And then, of course, we have Bloodsheath Skeleton because that's the combo, man. That's how you do it. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of moving parts. One of the moving parts is that you're going to need about an equal number of non-attack action cards and attack action cards, because when you play Sonata Arcanics, you're going to need both non-attack action cards and attack action cards to be drawn in this mode, in this moment. If you don't have that, if you only draw attack action cards, you get nothing. If you only draw non-attack action cards, you get nothing, right? So we have 18 non-attack action cards, and we have 16 attack action cards. We have 6 defense reactions that all create rune chants. Let's just look at those real fast. We have reduced to rune chant red, yellow, and blue. Red blocks 4, yellow blocks 3, and blue blocks 2, just in case you wanted to see those. There's the yellows, and there's the blues. And again, these ones cost 1 unless you have a rune chant already, in which case they cost 0. As you can see right there, they cost 0, and they make a rune chant token when you block. So this is one of the other variables that you have to balance. We need to make rune chant tokens. We need to play Sonata Arcanics with Bloodsheath Skeleton and rune chant tokens. It's a lot of juggling, but that's part of the reason why it's fun. Okay, so we know there's sonatas are in here, 2 sonatas. We also have 2 shadow puppetries to help give go again on the big turn, because one of the things we're going to need to do is be able to go wide with all the attacks that we draw. I mean, I guess you could go tall as well, but going wide seems like the optimal play. So this allows us to play down go again effects if we have it in our hand. Again, we have to start the turn with everything we would need in our hand, and the rune chants as well. We have dimensional gateways in here to pitch blue, namely just to pitch blue, but then let's talk about all of the ways we create rune chants. We have yellow and red Mavrian Skies. There's a yellow somewhere, it got stuck. I guess I shuffled this earlier. There's a yellow and red Mavrian Skies. There's 2, let me just find it. Boop, 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 boop. There it is. We have 2 yellows and 2 reds. These also give go again, and they allow us to create rune chant tokens on the back end if the attack hits. And this is another way you can play the deck. You can play it super OTK like we did with OTK Viscerai and make a bunch of rune chants and defend until the moment. Or you can play it sort of mid-rangey, because we have all of these attacks in here. So we can play a normal, like, mid-range, play a couple of attacks, a turn, that sort of thing. And then when we start building up rune chant tokens, then we can pop off with a big turn. There's 2 different ways to play it, which is why we have Mavrian Skies in the deck. We can also play Rune Blood Barriers, which creates 4 rune chant tokens and defends for us. Any damage we take in excess of like a block that we have, the rune chant tokens would soak. So it does remove some rune chant tokens if like we can't block everything, but it does also create them as well. Then, of course, if we're trying to create rune chant tokens, we need to play Read the Runes, like all reds and yellows. We could probably even squeeze the blues in here. It's just, what do you cut in order to do that? That's the tricky thing. Those all just create rune chant tokens. And then, of course, Mordred Tide. Now, yes, Mordred Tide is not as powerful in Chain versus Viscerai. It's just not as powerful, not as useful, but it still functions, it still works, so we have it in the deck. So those are all of the non-attack action cards. Now let's take a look at the attack action cards. We're going to start with 2 generally powerful ones and then go from there. Enlightened Strike is the only generic attack that we have in the deck, and the reason that we don't have very many of them is because like cards like Mavrian Skies, for example, all work on Runeblade cards. They don't work on generics. Otherwise, we could, if we cut the Mavrian Skies and put in like Seeds of Agony instead, we could run more generics that attack and have go again. But the reason this is in here is because it attacks for 5 and you can give it go again. Or you can end a big turn with 7, right? As long as you sink a card, we can end a big turn with an attack for 7. We also have Soul Reaping in here, which is just a powerful attack. If you're playing against a light hero, it's fantastic with Go Again. If you're not, that's okay. It can still attack for 6. You can give it Go Again with Chain's effect. You can banish a few of our Blood Debt attacks here. You can banish them and not pay the 6 for this, or you could even Bloodsheath Skeleton and use this as your attack action card and play it for free. So there's a lot of good things about this card. We run it because it's fantastic, and this is a shiny copy. You can't really see it through the sleeve, though, unfortunately. All right, this one's suspect. The ones in the back of this stack are like the hits, the ones you want. This one's a little bit kind of like, I don't know if I should play this, but I put it in there. Rune Flash, particularly the yellows and the reds, attack for 3 and 4 respectively. And they get cheaper based on the number of rune chants you control, and they just baked on the Go Again keyword. So on that turn where we want Go Again effects and like just to go super wide with a ton of cards, this could be pretty cheap if we make rune chants, play some Mavrian Skies maybe, or just, you know, have a, if it hits, make a rune chant token kind of a thing. This would get a little cheaper, and it just already guarantees the Go Again, and that's a huge thing. So we run the reds and the yellows. Shadow Averser is one of those cards that you could banish because it has Blood Debt. You could also play this, but most often you're going to pitch this on that crazy big turn because it's blue. You could play it, but if you don't have the resources to play all your other stuff, you could pitch this one because it's blue, because you are going to still have to pay for stuff, and that's an important thing. So we run 2. Now, Rip Through Reality is fantastic. It's expensive, but it's fantastic because this also bakes on Go Again. Now think about it. If you've dealt arcane damage to an opposing hero this turn, Rip Through Reality gains Go Again. If we've made 12 rune chants, and then we pop off Skeleton, play Sonata Arcanix. Sonata Arcanix may just straight up deal the arcane damage that we need, but then when we attack for the first time on that turn, the 12 rune chants go at our opponent's face too. So Rip Through Reality will gain Go Again if it's not the first attack, which is super cool, and that's why this card is a yellow 2 of and a red 2 of in the deck. And then this is the best card that we could possibly get off of a Sonata Arcanix turn. Meet and Greet. Both reds and yellows. Heck, we may even just want to put the blues in here. I don't even know. Meet and Greet is so fantastic. It costs 1, it attacks for 4. If it hits, create a rune chant token, and if you've dealt or deal arcane damage, it has Go Again. This card's fantastic. I think this is the best card in the deck, outside of like any necessary cards that we need, like Sonata Arcanix. This is the one you want to find in your hand on that big turn, because you can go like, pay 1, 4, Go Again. If it hits, create a rune chant token. Pay 1, 4, Go Again. Pay 1, 3, go. You have all of these things at your disposal. So this is where I'm at thus far, and just to give you a quick glimpse of what a turn might look like, I'm going to set up a scenario here that you can kind of see, and hopefully we can kind of get an idea of what we may be looking at. Okay, so I've simulated a couple of turns here. I've played, let's see, I've played out 3 turns where I've just tried to basically block with 2 cards from hand and play a defense reaction multiple times. So I have played red reduced to rune chants already, blue reduced to rune chant. I've played Read the Runes Red, and I actually played Read the Runes Red as well. I drew both of those in the top of the deck. And at this point, I've drawn my next hand and actually have a Sonata. In fact, I have 2 Sonata Arcanixes. I have, in Arsenal, placed Meet and Greet on the second turn of the game. This is turn like 5 or so. So it's an early draw for Sonata Arcanix. We have 9 rune chants thus far, which is pretty cool. And we've played, let's see, 3 non-attack action cards and 2 attack action cards. So it's a bit variancy right now, what we get off the top of the deck. We could pop it if we want to, or we can continue just playing out, defending with things from hand. Just, you know, at this point, if we popped it, we would have 9 rune chants. That would cut to 8, basically. You'd drop to 8, and then we would draw 4 plus 3. We'd draw 7 cards off of this. For me, I'm thinking we want to draw more than that. So I would sit here and I would like, oh, I don't know, I'd block with a couple of these like this. Maybe you could block with all 3 of them, because on the turn that you want to go off, you could, or maybe you block 2, because you can do like Crown of Dichotomy and put stuff back on before you play Sonata. So if we blocked like this plus some equipment, and then cycle our hand a couple of turns more before we draw into some crazy stuff, try to, you know, generate more rune chant tokens by drawing some more of those cards. A lot of times, I think what's going to end up happening is we're just going to play a waiting game trying to find some of those cards, and we can sit here and count attack actions like this, for example. This would be the turn where we'd want to do this first, and then on the next turn pop off. So let's pretend we're just going to do that. Mordred Tide, play Read the Runes, that makes 3, 10, 11, 12. And at that point, we would be drawing 6 cards, which is pretty good. We would draw 2 more cards, maybe defend. Oh, look, we could even wait another turn. We could play like Reduce to Rune Chant and take whatever damage or block with equipment, create a Rune Chant, go up to 13. Again, we're just trying to like slowly bleed our own life total down before we can have our giant turn. Heck, if you wanted to wait even more, you could pitch there, create 4 more Rune Chants. But I think at this point, at 13, I may just consider going off. That would put it at 12. That would give us 6 cards plus 3. That's 9 cards. Let's try it. So let's assume that maybe we blocked with that card last turn alongside of some other stuff. So we're down to this. I'm trying to get it to pretty threadbare, pretty kind of true to form. We would, heck, we could even do this, pitching like Shadow Averser, floating 2 resources, Crown of Dichotomy after making a chain, Soul Shackle. We could put like, what would we want to put? I don't know, that Shadow Puppetry going back in the deck, or heck, maybe even we put another Sonata in there, plus, I don't know, what's the best attack action card that we've burned thus far? I don't know, is there a not a Read the Runes, is there, no, a Meet and Greet? No, it's probably Rip Through Reality at that point, because it is looking for them to be a Runeblade card. Put those on top of the deck. So we've guaranteed 2 draws at this point. We then pop Bloodsheath Skeleta, and then play Sonata Arcanics. At that point, it would see 13 Rune Chants, round that down, and then down to 6, and then plus 3. So we take the top 9 cards of our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'd reveal these cards, and let's see how we do. 1 and 1. This doesn't count. There, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Ooh, we hit a lot of those defense reaction, which makes it a little sad. So in this scenario, we would add 3 cards to our hand. These 3 don't count towards anything, and unfortunately, we hit a lot of these Reduced to Rune Chants. So those would all go back into the deck. We'd shuffle, and then we'd have 3 cards with which to play. And we'd also have this card down here. We have 2 resources floating, and then we'd also send, at this point, after doing all of this, we would send 3 arcane damage to our opponent from Sonata. This would get banished, and then we could go something like Rune Flash, which is free, and we'd send 13 Rune Chants their way for 3 damage, 13 Rune Chants. We could play Rip Through Reality, assuming we've dealt them Arcane plus with the 3 from Sonata and the 13 here. 3 with Go Again, paying the 2 resources we have. Pitch, 3 with Go Again. If it hits, create a Rune Chant, and then that would leave us with 1 resource, and then Reaping Blade. So hopefully, if we can do that, 3, 6, 9, 12 plus 13 plus 3, hopefully we could probably find enough damage there. And that seems like a low roll as far as what we would actually get out of like a big Sonata turn, but it is doable. It is doable, and it is kind of weird, and it's funky, and it's crazy, and heck, we even low rolled when it came to pulling 3 pulling 3 of the Reduced to Rune Chants. So kind of a weird deck, but I think it's something that's going to be kind of fun to try. Let me know what you think about this deck in a comment below, about the combo between Bloodsheath Skeleta and Sonata Arcanics. I'm super interested in trying this out and trying to tool this deck up to something really interesting, something competitive perhaps. I don't know if it's ever going to be competitive, but I want it to be. That is where I'm at. That's my first draft with Sonata Chain. Let me know what you think in a comment below. If you like this video, hit the like and the subscribe. Also, if you want to support the channel, head into the description to all the affiliate links that I have down there. Those people support this channel, and you can support the channel by buying stuff from them. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.